and welcome back to Cascapades, or Traveller Scratchpad. Today we are looking at the port of Olden. Now, for a reminder for people, this series is all about the Carnival Pride cruise to the Norwegian Fjords that I'm sailing on in June 2022. So each episode of the series has been a look at one of the ports, looking at sites, destinations and things you can do here. Olden, we arrive at 8 AM and stay till 5 PM, so a full day. Now, some facts about Olden. Olden is a village and it's the urban area in the municipality of Strin in Vestland County. In Norway, obviously. It's located at the mouth of the Olden River at the northern end of the Oldedalen Valley on the southern shore of the Nordfield. Now, we'll be actually sailing through the Nordfield or North Fjords after we leave Olden on our way to Bergen. So you'll get to see that, and that's a huge fjord that you'll be able to see on both sides of the ship. So it'll be a really great opportunity to get those binoculars out, to get your cameras out and to get some really good shots. The actual village is located about 6 kilometres, that's 3.7 miles, southwest of the village of Loen. It's also about a 16 kilometre or 9.9 mile drive southeast of the municipal centre of Strin. So it's actually sort of central and located close to some other villages. The actual village itself is only 0.58 square kilometres, that's 140 acres, and has a population of only 479 people and a population density of 826 inhabitants per square kilometres. So yeah, not very many people. It rings back to some of the previous ports such as Skjolden that we've been to. So yeah, a very small place, very picturesque. The village is perfectly situated between steep mountains, blue glaciers and foaming waterfalls. Olden's a major tourist area, and in 2019, the last full year of cruise season, the cruise port of Olden had 102 cruise ship arrivals during that year. And considering people only really sail for the Norwegian Fjords in a sort of 4 to 6 month period, that's quite a lot. So let's talk about food, one of my favourite subjects. In Olden, because it's a small place, there aren't a huge amount of places that you can get to quite easily, but I have managed to find 3. They're all sort of mid-range pricing, so usually I do a cheap eats, a mid-range and a fancy, but everything here is about the same sort of price and the same level. There's not going to be any Michelin star restaurants here. Also, they're not going to be a sort of McDonald's or anything like that. Thank God, right? So the first one, Stabukk Cafe. Yes, get the name. It's a joke, really. They use their logo is actually a deer, but in the colours and the shape of the Starbucks logo. But no copyright infringement here, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Stabukk Cafe is a simple place to go for things like ice cream, coffee, and snacks. So your pastries, your sort of quick bites. If you're wanting a proper meal, a great place to go, especially if you have any mobility issues or you don't really want to go too far, is Gjestehus, which is a Norwegian pronunciation for guest house, basically. It's great for cruise ship visitors as the restaurant is actually at the pier itself. So when you're actually in the restaurant, you can actually see the size of the ship. So you're really, really close. And a good tip is you can sometimes get their Wi-Fi while on board. It's a really cozy location, lots of charm, simple homemade Norwegian dishes with lots of options and so much beauty to see from around the restaurant. I'll put a link to the Facebook page for the restaurant in the description below so you can have a look and see what you fancy. Let's look at the final option, Ris. Now this is a local Norse pub. So similar sort of food to a Gjestehus, but it's a limited menu, so a small amount of options, but everything is served very hot and well cooked. It's a local place for local people, lots of very sort of homemade foods. That's what you'll find in the smaller ports like Skjolden and Olden. They are small ports and therefore you'll get that small rustic charm. You're not going to find overly produced food, processed foods or anything like that. Things are going to be local and as the locals eat them, which is how you should holiday if you ask me. So let's talk about sightseeing in Olden. So from the still waters and the snow-capped mountains here, the Nordfjord presents the mighty glacier at the Jostedalsbreen National Park. I've probably said that completely wrong, but this is a true sign of nature. You will not find shops, restaurants. You will not find lots of telephone poles. You'll not find all of these modern things that you're used to. This is nature as it was designed to be seen. So please get your cameras out for this. If you only go off the ship to take photos once, make it here. It's beautiful and the water is crystal clear. Now, At the kiosks on the quayside, when you get off the ship, there will be places there that will offer excursions. So local companies, and they're often the same companies providing the carnival excursions, will actually recruit people at the actual dock to go on excursions. And if you've been to the Caribbean or to the Mexican Riviera, you'll be used to this. You see this all the time in places like Cozumel and Costa Maya, Roatan. This is a brilliant opportunity to get a lot cheaper excursion than if you bought one on the ship. Not to say that you shouldn't necessarily buy one on the ship, just that this will save you some money. It is possible to make a day trip on the glacier bus to the Briskdalen Valley, so you can actually go and see the glacier up close. That's one of the good recommendations. So this glacier is over 1 million years old. It's one of the best known of the glaciers here in Norway, and the beautiful valley can be explored by boat, and you can find lots of options of getting there through these excursions at the port. There's a visitor centre for the national park, and this is located on the banks of Lake Stryn, and you can get lots of information about the fjords, the glacier, and there's even a film to watch and a sort of exhibition as well that tells you all about the place. The best summer skiing centre is here as well. So if you want to do that, it may be a bit early in the season, but you can certainly have a look into it. Now, Norway's new attraction has opened, the Loen Skylift, located about 6 kilometres from the port of Olden, and it will take you to the fjord, to the top of Mount Herven in only 5 minutes. So it's a skylift. It's one of the steepest cable cars in the world, and it offers a breathtaking and unforgettable view of the fjords. It is somewhat pricey. I don't have the new price at hand because it's just changing, but it is still cheaper than buying the excursion to do it on board. So this is a brilliant opportunity. If you're not so mobile, but you want to get those breathtaking views, the Loen Skylift, I'll put the link in the description below. Now, one of the greatest things about coming to a place like Olden is the sail away. At the end of the day, we will sail through the Nordfield on our way to Bergen, and it is absolutely stunning. You will have mountains which are snow-capped. There will be waterfalls which are caused by the snow starting to melt because we'll be at the start of the summer season. So that's where the waterfalls will come from. It's all the melted snow from the glaciers and the mountains, and they will be beautiful. The skies are clear. One thing that a lot of people don't know about Norway is because it's so far north, basically where it is as opposed to the equator, they have at this time of year about 22 to 23 hours of sun a day. It does not get dark very much. So even at the sort of late parts of the evening, nighttime, even up to midnight, it can still be daylight. This is crazy to sound. For me, I think it's absolutely crazy and bizarre, but it's amazing as well. Great for those photos. So at night, after you've had your dinner at the main dining room or wherever you want to go, whether you go to David's Steakhouse, whatever you choose to do, get back out on the deck and admire the fjords we're sailing through, because you are going to be breathless. Remember some practical tips. I'll give these every week. If you need an ATM, they will be listed as mini bank. Lots of places in Norway do accept only card, or they prefer card, so do keep this in mind. However, there will be occasions where places are too small to have card machines, so if you want to bring some Norwegian kroner, you can, but personally I've never felt the need to. I think in Norway you can get away with just using card, unless you really want to go to that small place, and then you can have some in your back pocket. Make sure you get your currency, if you do get cash, from a place which will allow you to return any unused currency. A lot of places in the UK do this, where you can take it back and they will pay you back in Great British pound. So I imagine there's going to be places in the US that do that as well, I hope. Let me know if they don't, because I'd be quite curious to see that. Otherwise, another thing that they often do in some of the airlines from Europe is they allow you to donate any unused currency to them, and it goes to charity, which is another great thing. And hopefully, with the world we're living in at the moment, these collections will hopefully help people like the people in Ukraine. Often they did things like Ebola and things like that, so it can really help some people that really need it. Always, when going to a smaller place like this, make sure you have something to drink. A bottle of water in your bag, really helpful. If you go on a hike, for example, it may be a long time before you come across a place to buy anything like that, so make sure you have water with you. Keep yourself hydrated. Remember, this is a thing that people don't think about very much, is when you're on a cruise ship, you're eating meals prepared by chefs and things all the time, not food you've created yourself. And a lot of that food is high in sodium. And this is not going to be a nutrition channel, but because it's high in sodium, it means you get dehydrated. And so you want to drink more water. So you need to make sure you are keeping your water level up on a cruise. So that's your health and safety announcement for today. Join me next week when we talk about Bergen. Now, Bergen is the final port on this cruise. And in some ways, it's saving the best for last. We've had the nature cruises, nature ports, sorry. We've had the glaciers, we've had the national parks, we've had beautiful fjords. But Bergen is a city that's unforgettable. Join me next week. Thanks. Bye, guys.